Hello, Empowered Woman. Welcome to this episode of the Empowered Woman podcast. Today, I talk about my reflections on the recent amazing things that have been happening in my life and business, publishing a book, reaching six figures, being on TEDx, getting interviewed by top celebrity-like mentors, and I also share how I'm seeing all of this as an invitation for me to slow down and soak it all in. This has everything to do with my personality type. I'm a doer, and I will be breaking down what this means as part of a new and upcoming series and trainings on the six-figure personality types. There are 3, and they're all amazing. This is so good. Let's dive in.
Welcome back to the Empowered Woman podcast, the #1 show on personal growth, visibility, and profit for women entrepreneurs. If you're wanting to start believing in yourself, giving yourself permission to succeed, and let your voice be heard to make an impact in the world as an entrepreneur, this is the place for you. I am so glad that you're here. My name is Marta Spurk, and I'm your host, triplet mom, woman empowerment coach, and all things motivation extraordinaire. Welcome again, and let's dive into today's episode.
So my kids are on spring break. If there's any sort of background noise or interruption, just know that that's what's going on. Also, everyone had colds, so hence the nasal voice. It never escapes me. I feel like I've had a nasal voice for months on end. Thankfully, when I was doing the TEDx, I was fine. I had no nasal or sickness, thank God. And then I was on the process. I really wanted to record the Audible for my book by the end of the month. We still have a whole week ahead, so I am hoping, cross my fingers, that I get to do that because I want to record the Audible for my book, and I know it could be time consuming, but really the book is, I feel like I could be done in less than 2 hours. If I really just sit down, block off the time and do it, it doesn't have to take me a million years. There's very little editing that needs done because there's no music, there's no nothing. So if you are the Audible type, which I am too, which is so interesting because I launched my podcast and I hadn't been listening to podcasts at all. I was not like a complete avid podcast listening person. And then I launched my podcast and then I started listening to podcasts. And the same thing happens with books. I've had the hardest time reading books from start to finish. I do Audible a whole lot, and then I go and I publish a book. And it's a really small book, though. So if you've read it, or if you haven't read it because you're worried you're not going to finish, let me tell you, you can read it pretty much in one sitting or a couple sittings, like over a weekend, because it is short. There's like 100 pages or less. The Kindle version is even shorter. So there is a Kindle version. If you don't know, you can go to Amazon, and I can put the link in the show notes as well. Otherwise, if you'd like a signed copy, just go to martaspurk.com and you can find a link for the book, and I can send you a signed copy in the mail. But anyway, so if you're an Audible person and that's the reason why you haven't checked out the book yet, it's coming, my friend. I'm going to make it happen. Just pray that my voice is not nasal, and I will get this recorded sooner than later. Anyway, so I wanted to record this episode to do kind of like a wrap up of the amazing things that have been happening in my life. I know you've probably been following and seeing how one thing after the other has been happening a lot. Really ever since like August, September of last year, when I had a huge successful launch, many things started happening for me. I was able to buy my first car. My business started really growing. And then I decided I was going to move forward with a book, which had a lot to do with the mindset of, if I wasn't afraid, what would I do? And publishing the book was the next thing. And I knew it was going to be big. I thought publishing the book was going to be like getting to the point where the book was out was going to be the biggest hurdle. But let me tell you, there's a lot of emotions and mindset stuff that happens after the book. And I think I may have shared this on the podcast already, that in many ways it has felt like postpartum. Like, okay, the book was not. The book is now. The book is out. The book exists. Kind of like no baby and then baby. In my case, 3 babies. And now I'm kind of dealing with a lot of stuff. And then right after that, I had my TEDx. So I'd been practicing and anticipating for the day. And then it happened, but I still had a waiting period because the video takes a while to be edited and uploaded to the TED YouTube. Well, my friends, the video is out. So in case you didn't see any of my announcements on social media or my mailing list, you can now officially watch my TED Talk. It is called The Transformational Power of Defeat. And I share about having triplets, moving from Brazil to the US, and how I have dealt with challenges in my life and how having my children has really helped me see challenges in a different light. So I've been having such amazing feedback, people telling me how inspiring it is, how it's helped them reflect on their own lives. I've been getting voice notes, emails, comments on social media, people sharing it for me and just saying, this is amazing, watch this. I've shared it with several moms of multiples in several of the groups that I've been in for years now, and they really appreciated it because it's such a unique reality that we share as moms of multiples. So if you're a mom of multiples, if you're an immigrant, or if you just want to be encouraged, please go check out my TEDx. I would love for you to like and leave a comment and also share. And if you are inspired by it, would you send me a message privately? Just find me on social media or send me an email, contact@marchasperk.com. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know how it's blessed you. Anyway, so lots of amazing things happening. Recently as well, I got to be interviewed by Kayla Kraft, who is the mommy millionaire. You may have heard of her. She's incredible, multimillionaire, helping women scale. I have seen some of her stuff for years. She's like a household name. I've followed several mentors that have been trained by her. And ultimately, one big thing that happened was that my mentor, Stu McLaren from former Tribe and now the membership experience, invited me to be interviewed by him to talk about my journey in building my membership and how really my membership was the foundation for the success that I've been experiencing now, which is the Empowered Woman School. So quick plug here. If you're a woman entrepreneur needing guidance and accountability to grow your business and to implement empowering marketing strategies that are in alignment with you, I would love for you to check out my membership, the Empowered Woman School. I'm actually offering a 30-day free trial. If you go to freegiftfrommarta.com, the link's going to be in the show notes, but again, it's freegiftfrommarta.com. You can activate your free trial and join our community. I am just amazed at the amazingness of the women that are in there. And so if you're looking for this accountability, if you've been seeing my growth, and if you've been inspired by my journey at all, why not take advantage of 30 days free and see what the content is there? There's a huge database of several different trainings, guest expert trainings, really to get you going on a more empowered path to building your business in alignment. And this is really the segue here to the main topic of this episode, is that I wanted to tell you that even though I've been achieving all of these things, I have been dealing with weird feelings, feeling kind of like out of place. And I'm coming to understand more that this is growing pains and it's me adjusting to this new reality. Because I dreamed of being the person that I am today for a long time. And I shared this several times. I've been sharing this in interviews all the time, but I remember when I had first started with network marketing with Beachbody, and I received a Brenda Burchard, who was an amazing coach and speaker and author. I received one of his books, The High Performance Habits, as a reward for reaching certain goals within the company. So I feel like it was, if you've been a coach or if you are a Beachbody coach, you know what I'm talking about. Every month you have a goal of signing up at least 3 new clients, and it's called Success Club. If you hit Success Club is what they say. And that specific month, by reaching this goal, you got his book that he had just published. And as I was reading the book and looking at all the concepts that he's created and how he organized his content and all the testimonials and the client stories that he shared in this book, I had this glimpse. I thought, how can I be this guy? How can I get to a point where I am being flown in to meet with clients and help them sort through their mindset issues and their habits and all of that? How do I publish a book? How do I create online courses? How do I even create my own podcast? I didn't even have my podcast at that time. So it's been several different stepping stones to get to where I am today. And my driver personality, which is that is one of the things I want to expand on this episode. I have identified myself as a doer. I tend to suppress my feelings to get stuff done. So if you know people that are just on all the time, that are just on a roll, and they're not afraid of working, they're not afraid of pushing, They're always willing to take it a step further and even, sacrifice certain things. They're most likely a doer and they get stuff done. You can trust leaving things on these people's hands, in these people's hands, that it will get done. But it comes with a price. There is a caveat to all of that, which is that feeling of not enoughness. I need to reach something else. What is next? What is next? What is next? And if you're familiar with the Enneagram, these are types 3, 7, and 8. And I identify as a type 3. If you've read my book, you know. So what has been happening, I see now, is that these uncomfortable feelings that I'm feeling now are really a product of me going through some intense public talk therapy. I could have never imagined. I have been sharing my thoughts and even vulnerable feelings on social media for the last 5 years. Publishing this in a book and talking about it on TEDx takes it to a completely different new level. It's making it official. And I was up for the challenge, but obviously I didn't know what it would entail or what it would unlock and unleash. I didn't know until I was there. And that's how life is, right? You can read on theory a lot until you actually go do it. You could read books and books and books about riding a bicycle, but you won't really know what it feels like to freaking fall and scrape your knee bad until you are in it, right? Much like everything. You dream about walking down the aisle and getting married. You don't know what it's going to be like until you're in the thick of post honeymoon phase, right? And you're like, what the hell? I didn't know that this is what it was like. Even though people told me getting married was hard, right? Or staying married was hard. Or you can read all the books about pregnancy. Then you're pregnant and you understand in your skin. That's what we say in Portuguese. We understand, we feel it in our skins, right? We get that experience. And this is what I'm living now, is that I am achieving so many different things. And in many ways, I have felt disappointed, disillusioned, dissatisfied. Like, this is what I was hoping for. Like, I don't understand. So what do I go from here? And I've used the analogy, whenever you have a crush on someone and it's like that platonic thing and you're just daydreaming about that person, then they start corresponding. They actually start showing that they're interested in you. And then you're like, ew, I don't want it anymore. Do you know what I'm talking about? Quick pause to say, if any of this is resonating with you, let me know. Send me a message and say, Marta, you hit it on the freaking nail. Send me a message, email me. Anyway, so that's how I was feeling. I was like, I don't even know if I want this business anymore. Look at all the things I've accomplished, which is so weird because you'd think I would be over the moon, which I am. But what I've learned, and this is a lot of what I talk about in my TED Talk, is that you can both be extremely happy to be blessed with triplets and at the same very time be extremely disappointed because that's not what you would envision for yourself. And this can be true for other things in life, right? You can be extremely happy to hit that income goal and also extremely dissatisfied because now it's a new level and you have new responsibilities. New level, new devil, right? So this is what I've been experiencing. And what's so interesting is that ever since publishing the book, the very first course that I launched this year was called the Empowered Woman Experience, where I expanded on the teachings of the book to really help women embody what I teach in the book. And with that, I started diving a little bit deeper into the Enneagram, which is what I describe in the book, very high level, and coming up with my own approach. Because that is something else that I've noticed is kind of like a resistance in saying that I'm an Enneagram expert or that I am an Enneagram coach. A lot of it comes from imposter syndrome because I don't have any certifications except for my experiences and really all the learnings and studying that I've done for myself and applied it with clients, but it was kind of like underground. I didn't consider myself that great about it. Although people have asked me to do speaking engagements about the Enneagram for the last few years, but I still felt a little bit of imposter. And then the book came out and I'm like, oh crap. And I have this thing where I like doing things on my own. It's like, if there isn't a door, I'm going to break the wall and create a passage for myself, right? If people are not inviting me to speak at their events, I'm going to host my own freaking events. That has always been my mentality. And so I feel like in a way I was waiting for a point where I could teach the Enneagram my way. and make it simpler. And ever since January of this year, I've been developing something that I'm now calling six-figure personality types, which eventually will probably be empowered personality types. But I'm focusing on six figures because I know this is a huge milestone for business owners. Time and time again, I've been seeing more statistics that say that the majority of people that own an online business will never hit six figures. In fact, they will give up a lot sooner than even getting there because it just seems like such a hard thing to do. And yet you see other people reaching it. So it's really not impossible, but there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. And lots of stuff that we fall prey in the journey that discourages us, making us think that it's not something that's cut out for us, right? But anyways, I digress. So I've started grouping. I decided to group the 9 Enneagram types in 3 because this is the thing. It's very overwhelming for people that are not inclined into discovering and studying personality assessment and things, which is very personality-like. Some people don't care about that stuff and they don't want to dive in. Okay. It's very discouraging to be like, I need to figure out which one I am out of 9, and taking a test is not enough because it might not be my actual results. Like the results might not actually be accurate. I'm out. I'm going to go do something else. And this is a resistance that I have been encountering with my clients too. And I'm like, no, but you don't understand. The Enneagram is amazing. So I decided to just come up with my own thing. And this has been evolving, and I've been so grateful to have been given the chance to articulate this with time with my clients inside my program. So it started with the Empowered Woman Experience. I have been really shaping this very nicely inside my Show Up Empowered program that I started this other round in February. And we're almost done, by the way. And I've gained so much clarity, and the ladies are loving it. And I have been dripping this inside the Empowered Woman School. And so now I see, based on my own teachings, that what I am experiencing is an invitation for me to slow down. And this is the growth path for doers. So I've identified 3 types within the Enneagram, and this is my own framework that I'm calling the six-figure personality types, meaning you already are the person capable of hitting 6 figures in your business. You already are the person of finding amazing, astounding success in your life and in your business. But there are things that you still need to implement to actually embody and step into this person. Does that make sense? And this is what this framework helps you with, is understand you already are the 6-figure person, but now what steps do you take to really embody this person? And so for me, being a doer, so there are feelers, thinkers, and doers. For me, being a doer, which really corresponds to Enneagrams type 3, 7, and 8, I am always on the go, and I'm always moving on to the next thing. And time again, recently people are telling me, Marta, I hope you're soaking this in. I hope you understand how much of a big deal this is. And I'm like, is it really? Like, what's the next thing? I need to land on the moon. Like, that's my next goal. And not enjoying it, not appreciating it, and feeling this sense of emptiness inside of myself. And this is such a 3 thing, but also a 7 thing and an 8 thing. Living in the future and not enjoying the now. So this is what doers experience. And now that I'm feeling so conflicted inside, I'm seeing that these achievements are invitations for me to slow down and feel all the feelings. So this is something that I've been sharing as well, is that recently, well, the last few days when my TEDx talk became available and live, one of my clients messaged me and said, this was amazing. You did such a great job. I didn't realize you had such anxiety carrying triplets. You make it look so easy. And I was like, you know what? I never really knew I had such anxiety because I was intentionally and very consciously suppressing all that stuff so that I could move forward and move forward and move forward. But that's not how everyone processes things. There are many people that feel it and maybe stay stuck. This is a different personality type. This is more feelers thing. Oh, they're experts at feeling. But taking action and doing some other stuff that is needed for their growth, it doesn't come as easily. So this is what I want to share with you today. Give you a quick rundown of the 3 personality types, and then tell you that I'm so excited that I will be launching a series, and it'll be here on the podcast, about the 3 types and how that translates into mindset growth, into strategy that is in alignment for you to grow your business and into making effective and long-lasting connections to grow your business as well. Okay, so let me dive into feelers, thinkers, and doers, the 6-figure personality types, and also let you know that I will be launching a quiz to help you along with it. So I'm going to be describing the types and you can already start seeing yourself, but I'm also I'm almost done with a quiz that will really help you see the differences and decide for yourself which one you are. The quiz will help you kind of tell you which one you probably fall into, but I'll also give you access to the other 2 results so that you can really pinpoint where you are and start walking the path towards your growth, right? But before then, quick pause here to let you know if any of this is resonating with you, if you would like to dive deeper into this, if you would love the accountability to understand how this translates into your life and into your business and relationships, take advantage of the free 30-day trial of the Empowered Woman School. This is my business and marketing school and personal growth school. So it's mindset growth and personal growth and business growth for you. And you can check it out for 30 days free. Why not? Just go to freegiftformarta.com. And this will be the path for you not to learn new stuff, but to really embody the person that you already are, that is successful, that is accomplished, that feels peaceful, and that feels great in their own skin. This is what I want for you. All right, so let's talk about feelers, thinkers, and doers. So something else real quick, another amazing opportunity that has come about is that I was invited to write a chapter for a book that is going to be a compilation of several different personality assessments. So it is called The Archaeology of Self. We don't yet know when it's going to be available, but I already finished writing my chapter. I'm so excited. And what's amazing is that this was also something else that has happened in addition to me writing my own book. It's helped me put everything in one place. So in this chapter, I shared that I found the Enneagram at a time when I was lost more than ever because of having triplets and wondering what is wrong with me. And then finding the Enneagram really helped me understand that nothing was wrong with me. My only problem was failing to recognize who I really was. Now, the problem with the Enneagram that I have found, and I've already shared this, is that people shy away from the depth of wisdom of this tool because they take the test online or they're not happy with the results or the results are inconclusive, or they get discouraged from diving deeper because there are 9 personality types. So that's where I decided, instead of taking a long test or studying each of the 9 types separately, I decided to group the 9 types in 3 groups: feelers, thinkers, and doers. So here's a brief definition of all 3. Feelers are individuals who are oriented toward others. They believe they must earn the right to have their needs met by doing what's right, by helping other people, or even protecting them. And one of the main subconscious fears or life theme for feelers is feeling unsafe. They have this dread that they're going to be unsafe, that tragedy is going to happen. So that's why they are extremely reliable. They're extremely diligent people because they play by the book. They follow the rules. Their integrity is really their priority. And this is amazing. This is why we need people in the world like them. And they correspond to types 1, 2, and 6 on the Enneagram. So if you already know your type and you're one of these 3, then you are most likely a feeler. Now, the issue with feelers is that they tend to be extremely skeptical because they don't want to make mistakes, right? And their growth path really is taking risks and pushing the envelope. If you know a feeler, a 1, 2, or 6 on the Enneagram, you know that they're very fearful, that they think worst case scenario all the time, which makes them very prepared, which makes them very realistic people, right? So we need these people. We need engineers, architects, right? Risk assessment people, all of that. But the caveat is taking risks is not a forte. And in order to live life to its fullest, you have to be okay with not knowing how things are going to end. That's life. You don't know what's going to happen the moment you open your eyes in the morning. So if you are a feeler, you resonate with this deeply. And how does this translate into your marketing? So I already talked about mindset a little bit. How this translates into your marketing is understanding that you're going to have to detach from the results. You're going to have to push the envelope and try things that are outside of your comfort zone. Yeah, we all do, but for feelers, this is key because it's not easy for them. And that's how much they can learn from the other types, from thinkers and doers. Let me know if this resonates. And the same goes for relationships. Feelers are very protective of their relationships because they do not want to make a mistake, because they already are prepared for the worst case scenario. So they want to avoid those heartaches, right? So putting yourself out there and choosing to be okay with feeling the fear and doing it anyways is the best strategy for feelers. And let's talk about thinkers. If you're familiar with the Enneagram, thinkers are type 4, 5, and 9. These individuals' sense of self comes from within. They make decisions in the privacy of their own minds by imagining, reliving the past, or settling conflicts without communication. The most common subconscious fear for thinkers is not belonging, because they naturally feel like they're outcasts. They are withdrawn because they create a whole world within their minds, which makes them extremely creative and independent. So if you know somebody that is withdrawn, extremely creative and independent, they're probably a thinker. They live in their heads. It's fun for them to live in their heads. So the challenge for them is stepping out, is showing up, is showcasing their brilliance, which the world needs so badly. But they are living in that fear of, if I show my true self, people are not going to accept me. Their biggest fear really is rejection, which all of us fear rejection, but specifically for this type, because they live so withdrawn inside their minds, putting themselves out there, engaging and connecting with people is very, very hard. So think about this in the context of owning a business. You have to connect with others. You have to show yourself so that they understand your brilliance. But that is hard for them because they live inside their minds, right? They fear being misunderstood. They fear being outcasts. That's why they're super introspective and standoffish. But their growth path, really embodying that 6 figures for them, that success, that accomplishment, that sense of inner peace, is stepping out. This is their growth path, and they have so much that they can learn from doers and feelers, right? So now let's talk about doers, which is me. Doers correspond to type 3, 7, and 8, like I already said. They're aggressive, oriented against others, assertive about their needs, and seeing them met, which means they bulldoze over others. They live in the future and they keep people away. They're constantly seeking autonomy. They do not want to be controlled. They do not want to be told what to do. And because of this, they're extremely productive. They're extremely efficient. They're extremely driven. But their biggest subconscious fear, like I'd mentioned already, is feeling like they're not enough. That is why they're so action-driven and end up in leadership positions, performative roles. But the caveat is they have this deep-seated fear of slowing down, because that will mean that they're not enough. You see what I mean? And that's why I know I'm being called to slow down. This is my growth path. So doers feel like slowing down means defeat. Slowing down means they're stopping. And sometimes slowing down is what you actually need to feel, to enjoy, to soak it all up. And this is what I'm living right now. I'm not a feeler and I'm not a thinker, but I know if you resonate with those, you understood exactly what I said. So these are the 3 types. Like I said, I'm going to be launching a quiz to help you identify who you are. And I'll also be doing a series where each episode is going to be focused on one of the 3 types to encourage you to go on this growth path of understanding how your personality type can be so useful for you to work on your mindset, for you to really find a strategy that is in alignment for you to grow your business, and also for you to find ways to engage and to build better relationships with people, understanding that they are across those 3 types, right? Their personality falls across those 3 types. So that is super helpful for content creation. That's something else I've been talking about. People are always telling me, how do you create so much content? When do you sleep? How do you organize it? How do you send such amazing emails that are such great copy? Friend, I can tell you what I do, but if you're not a doer, this may not work for you. And that's why I want to teach everything from now on, through the lens of the 6-figure personality types, because this can look different depending on your personality type. And I can't wait to continue unpeeling these layers and breaking this down. Again, if this was helpful, will you let me know? Will you send me a message on social media or an email and say, Marta, this episode rocked because, tell me why it was so helpful to you. And again, I invite you to check out the 30-day free trial inside the Empowered Woman School. Just go to freegiftfrommarta.com. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Like I said, all the links that I mentioned throughout this episode are in the show notes. Be sure to check that out. Connect with me on social media. Share with me your thoughts on the show, my content. Ask me any questions that you may have, and I will see you next time.